In August of 2009, I was getting ready to start my freshman year of high school. In the middle of Hell Week for soccer practice, while taking care of my freshly nailless toesies, I caught a glimpse of something on TV. It was an ad for a new Batman game. This was the summer right after The Dark Knight came out, and the most recent Batman video game I'd played was the Batman Begins movie game, so I was expecting a Dark Knight game to come out soon. But this game looked different. This Joker didn't look anything like Heath Ledger's Joker, the Batman didn't look anything like Christian Bale or the all-black rubbery Christian Bale bastard from the Batman Begins game. This one was in a gray suit, like the Batman I knew growing up on Batman the Animated Series and the Justice League cartoons. I was only 14 at the time and didn't really know much about voice actors, but something in my lizard brain connected the voice of the Joker from that ad with the Joker from those cartoons that I fucking loved. I had to get this game. It has been over 10 years since that fateful day, and I'm way stronger and way cooler than ever before. Obviously. But I probably do a full playthrough of Batman Arkham Asylum at least once a year. This game kicked off a trilogy, sorry Arkham Origins, I respect your story, that ended in 2015. People love this franchise, and it revolutionized superhero video games for sure, but also third-party adventure games as a whole. For better or worse, you'd be hard-pressed to find an adventure game that doesn't have their own version of Detective Vision and the Arkham combat system. Let's look back at the game that started it all. Batman Arkham Asylum. To kick off this video, I'm going to start with the most important part of any Batman game, the Batboy. Batman Arkham Asylum wasn't my introduction to Batman. I'd been a fan all my life, from the Tim Burton movies to the cartoons and then the Christopher Nolan movies. But Arkham Asylum kickstarted something that has led me to amass a collection of more than 400 Batman comic books I can't possibly bring myself to read. I love this character more than any other in fiction, and this video game right here is an excellent experience for die-hard fans and the uninitiated alike. You can tell the writers both love, but more importantly know, their Batman. Shout out to Paul Dini, a writer on Batman in the Animated Series. For a game so steeped in lore, you don't really need to know a damn thing about the Batman to enjoy this game. But, this game really delivers on a Batman who has seen some shit. You can tell by his interactions with the characters in this game and his general attitude that he's been dealing with this utter nonsense for a while. And that was such a smart move. We just saw a movie about a Batman who begins and played a mediocre video game about it, letting the player get to feel like an experienced Batman and feel like you're an ingrained part of this fucked up, creepy world is so satisfying. Batman already knows most of these freaks, his interactions with them aren't bogged down in gathering backstory. If you want to learn more about them, the game provides a fun little fact sheet for you, which was honestly helpful for the more obscure characters like Killer Moth. This Batman already has the Batmobile, he's got gadgets. Commissioner Gordon loves him. He hangs out with Commissioner Gordon's brutally paralyzed daughter without his knowledge. It's a hoot of history. And you don't have to relive the murder of the Waynes again. Mostly. Obligatory reference one time, but it's done so well and not in the cliche way of showing the gun and the pearls all rolling away that it's fine. The one problem that I have with Batman in this game is he doesn't get to do too much. He's a little too empty main video game character. He definitely has a personality, but he seems more like a stand-in for the player in this game in particular than he does in future titles in the franchise. He's still a fucked up lunatic, and they do hit on that, but it's at like a 5 or 6 in this game. 8 max for like 30 seconds, but I'm thirsty for an 11 at all times, baby. Speaking of fucked up lunatics, let's talk about the plot. You can get a sense for the tone of the game as well as the main driving force of the plot pretty early on. We begin on a motherfucking iconic opening shot. It's a stormy night with a full moon half covered in clouds. We're panning down, the bat signal illuminates the sky, we begin sinking beyond a terrifying nightly gargoyle onto the streets of Gotham City. We can hear a radio turned down low. The Joker has been apprehended. Batman is bringing him to Arkham Asylum. Vroom! The motherfucking Batmobile zips past! So Batman nabbed the Joker and he's escorting him in the Batmobile. Joker's just saying nonsense in the backseat. The doors to Arkham open, and Batman is escorting the Joker through the entirety of the lockup process. We are introduced to the Arkham staff. There is Warden Sharp who runs the place. He's like a pompous British ass, and a security guard with a hook for a hand named Cash. One of the inmates we see while escorting Joker is Killer Croc. Fun fact, Killer Croc bit off Cash's hand, that's why he's got the hook. We also find out there was a fire at Blackgate Prison, so all the other criminals in Gotham are temporarily being held in Arkham Asylum with all the original patients. Meanwhile, Joker is having a great time on our little jaunt.
Need to take my temperature? I'd be happy to drop my pants.
They won't let Batman through a security checkpoint, but he meets up with Commissioner Gordon and they start shooting the shit, which for them is just nightmare fuel. So Batman's like, Joker surrendered too easy. He might be up to something. Right as Joker kills his guards and escapes with the help of Harley Quinn, who has taken over the entire security system of the island. That's the setup for the game right there. Batman takes off after Joker, but Harley has taken over the system, so they're able to slow Batman down by keeping him locked out of certain areas and by releasing henchmen at him. In this mad dash to stop the Joker's island-wide killing spree, Batman encounters several of his most notable villains, while also uncovering the mystery of exactly what the Joker is planning. That's a completely spoiler-free introduction to the game. Just on that pitch alone, I was sold right away. If it's been a while since you played the game and you want a plot refresher, or if you've never played the game and are interested in a general summary of what happens next, I'm going to continue, but it's going to include some spoilers. It won't be too in-depth, but if you don't want to hear anything, you can skip to this timestamp. Now's your chance to click, because I'm going to start. Okay, here we go. So first thing is first, Batman chases Joker. We see Zsasz being a chump, Batman saves some people from laughing gas, then he finds the Joker, who releases a mutated weirdo who dies of a heart attack. Joker gets away, and Batman finds out Gordon has been taken hostage. Batman has to save Gordon because that's what a Batman does. He makes his way to the medical facility, saves some doctors who have been taken hostage. One in particular will become surprisingly integral to the plot. Then he descends into the lower levels and finds Gordon's dead body. What the fuck? He tries to find out who did it and ends up in a morgue that really doesn't like him being there.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
But it also can't seem to let him go. He finds his mom, his dad, and his scarecrow. Zoinks! Batman enters a fear hallucination that he eventually breaks free from. Turns out Gordon is alive and Batman's boogieing again. Batman takes down some goons and Harley and saves Gordon, but a little Raisin Bane is also strung up nearby. Bane talks some shit about Dr. Lady, then Joker lets him loose and Bane immediately gets swole thinking about breaking that bat back. But Batman decides just to hit him with his car and be done with it. Gordon sails off on a boat, free from all his worries forever, I'm sure.
Jim, get back to the mainland. It's too dangerous here.
I don't like leaving you here.
Batman tells Oracle her daddy is safe and that he's gonna go to his secondary Batcave that he built on Arkham Island because he's a nut. We get this amazingly dope cutscene that at the time simply could not be beat by my young boy heart. Batman grabs a new gadget and we get some backstory on Dr. Young. Turns out she had a deal with Joker, although at the time she didn't know she was dealing with Joker, to create a chemical compound similar to the Venom compound Bane uses to get huge. When Dr. Lady found out it was Joker, she called things off. So Joker staged this whole prison break so he could get what he's owed from the Doctor, so he can create an army of giant dumb dudes like the one we fought earlier. Batman finds Dr. Young's research and burns it. On his way to find the good doctor, Batman enters the wonderland of never-ending hallways when he's transformed into a young tot in a tux. So you know where this is going. We get a tasteful glimpse of the Wayne family murders, and we're back in Halloween Town. Batman escapes once more from the Scarecrow's fear toxin, then ventures off to save Dr. Young from Zsasz, very easily again. But Dr. Young is killed, and we find out two things. One, that Joker has a secret lab in the Botanical Gardens, and two, that Harley Quinn has the Warden who has the security access codes for the island. So Batman has to track down that pompous wiener using all his gross blood. He tracks Harley back to the penitentiary where the more disturbed inmates are locked up. We get to say hi to Poison Ivy and catch the first of many glimpses of that ass. We save the Warden and get the codes, but then Harley lets Ivy out and Joker lets out the lunatics. Batman goes and punches Harley for the hell of it, and we're off to the secret lab in the trees. In the secret lab, Batman fights some buffed up beefcakes and gets a new gizmo. He asks Ivy for help and the audience gets another peek at that tush. Ivy says the only way to create an antidote for the Titan compound that Joker is using is through plants located in Killer Croc's lair in the sewers beneath the island. Gross. Ivy then pretty much immediately betrays Batman, but we'll get back to that later. On the way to Croc's lair, my game fucking glitched out and I had to start all over. Wait, this isn't right. I'm not this thin and pale. I'm fucking buff and hot. That's better. We're in another Scarecrow hallucination. We do our thing, Scarecrow's freaking out because Batman's body seemingly defies science at every turn. But Batman doesn't give a fuck about that guy and continues on to Killer Croc's lair. We stumble upon Scarecrow, who then casually threatens a significant terrorist attack that Batman seemingly wouldn't be able to stop. But it's okay because the scary boy's mauled by a mutant crocodile man. Just the guy we were looking for. Batman goes into the lair and gingerly collects some plant samples for his lab. Oh God. Oh fucking God, help! La-dee-dee-la-dum. Oh Christ, what god would do this to me? Ho ho ho, I love a good science. Feet don't fail me now! Boom, bitch. Don't mess with me and my explosive goo. Batman makes the antidote from the samples he collected, but now Poison Ivy is causing a hubbub and he has to shift from peeking at to kicking that ass in her giant phallic plant monster thing, where she moans aggressively every time you hit her. Does she like this? Am I supposed to like this? Why do the game designers want me to feel so odd in this fight? Anyway, Batman blows her up, but it's okay I guess because she's a plant lady and she'll survive taking my explosive goo straight to the face. Oh my god. Finally, it's party time. Joker sends out an invite to Batman to come join him at the visitor center. There are dudes in party hats. Everyone's so happy to see Batman. We can't have that. Turns out Gordon managed to somehow get himself kidnapped off a boat and brought back to the island just in time for the finale. Joker unleashes some Titan goons, but they don't do much. Joker then goes to infect Gordon with the Titan compound, but Batman intercepts that shit. Joker then infects himself. So ladies and gentlemen, you may want to remove young children from the room right now. This isn't for innocent eyes. We get the hunkiest Joker in all of media. Joker called the news for this showdown, but Batman won't change. He uses the antidote he spent most of the game trying to make on himself. Then, this clown fight happens. Batman beats the Joker by punching him so good with his signature move, his ultra, unstoppable, explosive goo punch. The Joker is defeated and the inmates are locked back up in this gothic nightmare hellhole that has shown so much success treating patients humanely. All is well with Arkham Asylum once more. Or is it? That was a lot of summary, but hopefully if you didn't know the plot, now you're caught up on what the hecking fuck I'm talking about. I very much skimmed over a lot of the plot detail in this game, and overall there is an incredible attention to detail both within the mechanics of the game as well as with the comic lore. So now let's shift our attention to that stuff. Just to kick things off, remember how at the end of the game you end up going to the visitor center for a party? Well, it's built to look like the Joker's face throughout the game. In between missions, you'll catch thugs building that up. You don't necessarily know what it's for, but it gives a fun sense of progression. Also, you can go inside the visitor center between missions too. The game never advertises this, so it's just a fun little thing a more curious player can discover. You enter into this POV mode and get shit-talked by this clown in the TV, which also helps set the stage for a scene in the final mission. The fact that this isn't even a feature the game developers tried to make sure players saw makes it all the more fun and shows how much there is to be discovered in this game for the completionists and fans. Of course, the most obvious example of driving players to be completionists is the Jolly Green Riddler himself.
Yes, it is I, Edward Nigma, the Riddler, and more importantly, your intellectual superior.
If you've played any Arkham game, the sight of these glowy-ass question marks may make your heart rate go up just a little bit. This narcissistic son of a bitch has inspired more Googling than any other video game character I know of. I kinda fucking hate him. But the Riddler isn't so bad in Arkham Asylum, and even though he can get annoying in future games, I still enjoy his role in the franchise, and I wouldn't remove him for the world. He's also essentially the source of the in-game Wikipedia. The game designers very cleverly had some of the Riddler's riddles tied into the Batman lore, so as you go through the game, you're getting a more fleshed out sense of the world. Also, as you get closer to solving all his riddles, he gets increasingly pissed, and it's just so satisfying to hear Riddler's smugness turn sour when he realizes he's on the back foot.
I'm losing patience. You're cheating. You must be.
The riddles don't just get you to solve puzzles that unlock fun little character bios, they also help guide you to find two different types of audio tapes. The first one being patient interviews for each of the game's main villains. These things are creepy little glimpses into the villain's mind, as well as the inner workings of the asylum. Every time I play through this game, I listen to all of these again, because I think they're fun, nice, well done short stories that just kind of add to the atmosphere. The second type of tape you listen to is much creepier. That would be of the spirit of Amadeus Arkham. You find these beetle-engraved tablets throughout the island, which claim to be written by the founder of Arkham Asylum, Amadeus Arkham, who went mad decades ago. They focus on descent into madness and the development of a vicious sense of justice against the inmates. Once they've all been collected, they lead to a mystery you have to solve. It's not the hardest mystery, you could always Google it, but it's a fun little touch. This Batman video game did not have to go this hard, yet they did. And because they did, it makes the entire setting feel more alive. It makes it feel like Arkham is this ancient, troubled, maybe even cursed place that has existed long before the game began and will exist long after. With just these two types of audio tape, the game manages to bring the player a little deeper into Batman's world, which is exactly what you're playing a Batman game for, isn't it? Rounding out the lore conversation would of course be the characters in this game. I love the cast of villains they picked. They have the most obvious one with Joker, but then they went pretty unexpected with their other decisions, and I really respect how bold they were. Think about the time this game came out, summer of 2009. Superhero movies weren't what they are now. Pop culture isn't what it is now. Sure, now your grandma knows who Black Panther is, but back a little more than a decade ago, there wasn't anyone but a handful of die-hard DC fans clamoring to see Killer Croc in anything. Fast forward a couple years later and he's a live-action smash hit. I mean, look at what they did with him. This is what the fans wanted to see. This won an Oscar. And that's all thanks to this game making him more mainstream. But for real, we've got Joker, Harley Quinn, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Bane, and Killer Croc. What the fuck? Not the regular combo of Batman villains, but I dig it. And it helped make the world seem crazier while also making Batman feel more impressive. Replace Killer Croc with Two-Face, and the danger of Arkham Asylum doesn't feel as immense. Batman can punch a guy, no matter how many faces. He does it all the time. But can he punch a crocodile man? I don't know about that. The characters are all really well written and they feel natural. None of them feel mischaracterized, and that's why it's great having writers who actually understand the characters in the world. This game still is fun with its characters without feeling as though they have to hit some beats from a specific comic book to appease fans. They understand Harley, so they can have fun with her and just see what they come up with. That's why the Ivy and Harley scene feels so great. We don't see many of the characters interacting with each other, but in instances when we do, such as this, it still manages to feel engaging for the player despite not being directly involved. Which brings me to the Joker. Like many, the Joker is my favorite comic book villain. Stunning, shocking, breathtaking news, I know.
You're expecting maybe Two-Face?
I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series and the Justice League cartoons, where Mark Hamill voiced the Joker. To me, his Joker is my Joker. There is no embodiment of that clown I like better than within the Arkham series. He's funny, he's dark, but he's also almost cringy, and he's goofy. There's just something about him no other Joker has. He doesn't take himself too seriously, meanwhile he's the most serious threat in Gotham. While I don't think Arkham Asylum is the best representation of the Joker in the franchise, I do still think he's great here. I'd be hard-pressed to think of another villain who could have served as the main antagonist and kept this game just as fun, fast-paced, horrifying, and insane. He's the Virgil to our Dante in this march through hell, and by golly, I wouldn't have it any other way. The last big thing I want to focus on is the actual gameplay, and if it still holds up for a modern player. The combat system in Arkham Asylum should feel very familiar to anyone who has played a third-person action game over the last 10 years. That's because Arkham Asylum made it popular, for better or for worse. It's a relatively simple system, attack and counterattack, but I still find it satisfying. Future games in the series take the combat system and evolve it, adding different features to break up the monotony. But for a 10-hour game, I think the combat system delivers on what it's there to do. It's supposed to make you feel like a badass, and breaking dudes' bones at every opportunity and then going back to standing straight up and stone-faced like a full-blown lunatic does just that. The stealth system of the Arkham franchise has gotta be my favorite aspect. It takes a little suspension of disbelief to accept that every room that you need to be stealthy in happens to have horrifying and detailed gothic gargoyles dotted around the ceiling. But hey, it's Gotham, and everyone's a bit of a freak. Like the combat, the basics of this gameplay system is fairly straightforward. Hide, knock out dude, repeat. But really, depending on your difficulty, you could ignore the stealth on some levels and just bum rush the enemies to progress quicker. But that's lame. These stealth rooms do get harder as the game goes on, and that's definitely welcome, because they can feel really easy at the beginning, especially if you're replaying the game. But it's fun grappling around the room, assessing who you want to take down first, even setting up traps to come up with a more creative way to take out goons. The stealth system really reflects what you bring into the game. If you want to run through it, you can. If you want to take your time, strategize, and feel like a more tactical Batman, you can. Personally, I always try to be a sneaky god. Fun fact, I always unlock the inverted takedown first thing when I start a new playthrough, because it just adds a level of absurdity that I revel in. There's absolutely no need to ever use this takedown. If anything, it's a bit riskier than taking people out quietly. But I get a kick out of driving the henchmen nuts, and by extension, I feel like Batman also gets this weird little thrill. You can just feel him smiling as he strings up one of those goons and then zips away. Ugh. And the rush you get from cutting them down from across the room just to freak everyone else out even more? I think I need to cool down. So overall, I think the stealth system leaves a little to be desired. I think it could be a little more difficult throughout, but I still think it holds up. It's been a hot minute since we've gotten a good Batman game. That may be changing soon, but I'm no fortune teller, so I can only hope. I made this video as a retrospection and also a celebration of a game that I think more people should give a chance. As much as I hate to think about it, Arkham Asylum did come out 11 years ago, and that's not too far off from how old I was when I first started playing it. So that means there could be a whole new generation of gamers who have never even played the game. Maybe they've heard of it or played newer entries in the franchise, but they never thought of giving the original a shot since it's so old. Well, to that I just want to say, they did a remaster. It's not that old. Neither am I. I'm cool. I'm strong. I think Batman Arkham Asylum kicked off an impressive franchise that really did change the shape of modern day video games. You can feel Batman's beefy face stamped across the action-adventure genre still to this day. Arkham Asylum managed to not only have a great story, but also have a great Batman story too, perhaps even creating a few new Batman fans in the process. The only real issue I have with the plot is at the very end, and I'm making a separate video about that soon, so subscribe if you want that tasty little video snacky. This is a game with a lot of heart. You can feel the love from the game designers and all the little details throughout the world and within the lore. The people who made this game really cared, and in an age of regurgitated crap, I find that refreshing. Overall, I'd say I have nothing but fond memories looking back at Batman Arkham Asylum. It's a game that I think holds up today, and deserves to be talked about as an influential game within the medium for years to come still. But what do you think? Have you ever played Batman Arkham Asylum? Do you think it's poo and that I'm crap? Or do you unabashedly love the game in a way you're too afraid to express to anyone but your therapist? No judgments here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.